this mate was playing Tracer Winston, and now you're playing support. So that's crazy. All right. So
Yeah.
okay.
So right now I'm on a team, and I'm just trying to, because I don't have that much experience on Lucio, and I'm pretty comfortable on Brig, but I just like to get coached on kind of both of them, so I can
Okay.
get better.
All right. Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay. Brig. Is that Brig Lucio?
Yeah, it's just kind of recent that I joined, and we mostly play Kiriko, so yeah,
Okay. Okay.
Brig
Okay.
doesn't work well with that.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. 4 to 5 hours a day. Okay, I mean, obviously it's been a while, but we've talked about training schedule and stuff like that before. Um,
Yeah.
questions? Any questions since last time? Then on the basic boring stuff.
No, I've kind of gotten the hang of like assessing my own gameplay, so no, not really.
Okay. Want to understand the flaws of my gameplay? Obviously, we'll be looking at support. No questions. Just jump in.
Um, I guess I do. I guess I do have a question. It's for Lucio. When uh, when do you know if you're supposed to be kind of playing like tag along with like your team, like grouped up, or um kind of like shadowing your DPS on an off angle, or are you just only supposed to do the second option
What was the first option
when you
again?
see it? Just like grouping up with your team and like speeding them in, like if you're running like kind of like a brawl, and when to kind of like divert to your DPS on the off angle to
Yeah,
help him
yeah.
out.
I see. So I think the general rule with Lucio is that you can pretty much assist anywhere you'd like, main, off angle left, off angle right. What I would say
Okay.
is two questions. Is number one is my tank going to move or have motivation to push or pull? If that makes sense. Okay. So
Yeah.
if you can answer that question, that obviously implies that you can find value from speed boost. Okay. The second question, and maybe even the more important question, is do I like where I'm positioned on this angle or on main? Coliseo is a great example. Where on Coliseo, like let's say that you're on the first fight and you're in that choke. Fighting on that choke can feel really naked on first fight. Pretty open,
Yeah.
right? So that's a situation where unless you have a really, really, really important composition where you want to speed in, you probably don't want to force the speed trade. And instead you want to play towards the little water fountain towards the other side where they remove the glass, right? And utilize
Yeah.
like the architecture there and use the walls there just to find proximity, right? But at the same time, I had a team coaching session one time where the Lucio was going way out from the architecture, just kind of playing on the floor and then getting sniped out because they were trying to help their tracer. And we had a conversation where it was like, that's not good. Not because helping your tracer is bad, but because helping your tracer on that particular position is bad because that's a wide freaking
you.
open position, right? It's a bad angle,
Yeah.
right? So for you is all I want you to evaluate, are we likely to move? Do I like this position selfishly? And then make your decision of who you want to help based off of that.
Okay.
The reason why Lucio Tracer often works together is because they generally like often the same kind of angle, but not always. Not always. You might be with
Yeah,
Sojourn.
they're like the same range, kind of.
Yeah. But obviously Tracer has a lot more freedom of how deep she can go, and she can be a bit more flexible with the rotations than you are. So it's really context dependent. Just think selfishly. And if we do look at Lucio today, we will talk about that exactly. Even in a ranked, we can talk about it.
Okay. Yeah, I think mostly I'm gonna be doing Lucio codes
Okay, works for me.
just because I need the most work on them.
Okay.
I don't know if you have this problem, but for like scrim codes, there's like a bug where you like skip forward and it like logs you out the game.
Yep.
Yeah, okay, that's still happening. That
Yep,
sucks.
still happening. I've reported the code a couple of times. In fact, if you don't mind, I'd like to steal your code and report it again.
Yeah.
Okay. So drop it whenever you like, and I'll actually do that first thing as we're getting it pulled up.
Okay.
This is one of the buggy codes here.
Yeah.
Love that.
So I don't know if like I don't know how you're supposed to like go through it, but I have other codes that aren't Scrim. If it's too much of a hassle.
It's fine. You just don't skip. So I'll be
Okay.
safe to skip for the first little bit, but then once we actually get in game, I won't be able to skip anymore. So what we can do is, this is you here, right? What we
Yeah.
can do here is we can, we'll just use my scroll wheel to skip forward and then just pray that I remember to not skip backwards or forwards. Okay. Okay. Any questions about Lucio beyond what we just asked before we jump in?
No.
Okay, let's take a look here. So like this is a great example here where your tank does not really need speed as much. So you should focus exclusively on what angle feels better for you to control. And obviously that feels pretty obvious here, right? Like this is like really freaking good. Not because it's Genji, but because this position is really freaking good. In fact, so much so that if I was playing ranked and my Genji was playing like here or playing towards point, I would just DPS Lucio on this angle. That's basically it, right? So that's that's just the principle here. And you can see it. Like, this is really, 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 like, so much better space control. Like, this is really, really, really good. The Widow's weird. I also think it's tricky because of where you guys are choosing to take fights. It doesn't make sense, right? If you guys are taking dives that are on point, that would be fine for Widow, or if she was angling, but then all of a sudden, I mean, to be honest with you, I think your best bet would be to, I know this is not a team coaching session, but just have your Widow solo angle here, Vitamine,
right
and
side,
then, and then just let her die to the Tracer. To be honest, just let her die. It's fine. Just like make her waste time so that you guys can focus exclusively here, because it's kind of criminal that your Kiriko is not getting more value than she is right now because she's too busy babysitting a character that's not going to get anything done anyway. That being said, this looks good from you. Obviously would have liked some more shots to be landed there, but honestly, like the setup and the positioning, the rotation, and obviously the amp to follow the team call is still really good. So that was decent. And you feel it, right? Felt smooth. Felt really easy to stage the dive because you're coming from the angle. Felt like you were able to compress them into a lot of space. Sadly, we can't skip forward anymore. Okay. This is okay because this is a pretty compressed angle with what you guys are trying to push out. Obviously, the transition is where things get really awkward here on this particular map, because if you guys don't quickly pressure and capture point, Freya takes an angle on you, and then you kind of have to rotate back inside. I don't love the amp, although I'm sure there was something called there, but obviously amping and standing still, or even amping and backing up, doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah, I forget what the call is. I think
It's fine. Yep, just hug the wall. Yep. Holy. Okay, that's freaky. Good stuff though. Basically, the reason why your matchup versus Tracer is so good is just because anytime that you guys are looking forward, the Tracer's going to want to close the distance, right, and pressure the angle, which means she's playing in your effective range, which means you're in a perfect position to give your team aura. There's like a Gen Z joke in there somewhere, and then at the same time be able to like look at the off angle harassing you and just kind of keep an eye on her. So this is good.
right.
This
Just
is good.
poking her out.
Yeah, this is good too, because like again, this is kind of the like shorter medium range angle that feels a lot better for you. Again, whether it's Freya or whether it's Genji, it doesn't really matter. Your options here or your options here, neither of which feels that good, right? So this is fine. Yeah, sure. That's just mechanics. Like that Freya needed to die like easily 4 or 5 seconds ago. That's all there really is to it. You guys just played your ult economy really, really badly there. And then obviously your Winston dying with Primal is kind of a bummer. That's kind of a bummer. Disengaging even though the Genji was being focused. What's actually kind of funny is coaching scrim codes is way simpler usually. Because there's Yeah,
Really?
because generally you're much clearer with your responsibilities, so it exclusively comes down to the execution of those responsibilities, like the ability to hit shots, the ability to move, and so on. Like, I don't have a lot of feedback for your positioning for the most part here. It's just been, are you hitting your shots? Are you moving? Like right there, right? That's criminal that you got vortexed, right? You needed to be on the wall with a lot more verticality, looking at whatever was closer and not getting so sloppy with how you're moving, right? It's just the panic of what's going on, and that's kind of criminal. Like that's the kind of stuff that you can't do with Lucio. If you're gonna die, do something. By the way,
I see
I'm
myself
moving...
getting.
Go ahead.
Oh, you go.
No,
I
no,
said
no.
I see myself getting caught a lot with vortex, especially
Yep.
and like the tighter kind of areas, like the tighter choke. So I think I gotta like change that, like by playing more distance or being higher on the wall.
Yeah, I mean, just anticipating it, right? Like putting your attention onto that if it's a threat and looking to play around it. It's a long cooldown, right? So it's not a threat for forever. It's a threat once, then it's not really a problem anymore. This rotation's fine. And then obviously what you're going to do is, where are you going to play here?
Probably poking left side or following DPS if they go somewhere else on an off angle.
Sure. You're either going to commit to the point fight here, or you're going to commit to a deeper angle here or here, right? You're not going to go here because just bad architecture for you, right? So and this is where I just don't really love what you're doing, right? If you were pursuing Tracer, maybe. But I think that if you can make this rotation a point being up here and getting support from here, it's just good, right? Like all of a sudden you're a tank bot. Why?
Because it's in my range.
Yeah, this is good. This is really good for you. Now, you got to care Vortex here, right? But this is your responsibility, right? Tracer's not your responsibility here. Any engage from Tracer is going to be hard for her because of how open this space is, right? This would only make sense if there was nothing else for you to do. But actually here, I want you on point. You see what I'm saying? So the beat's fine, but that's a situation where you needed to be with your tank, not with your backline. Make sense?
Yeah.
I mean, you just kind of see, like, you felt useless, right? Like, you just didn't do anything, right? And you didn't.
Because my range is bad. And
right, your range is bad. And so you can,
and
and the thing is it's not just that your range is bad in terms of, like, your output, but it's also you felt like you were still very fragile, too, right? It's like, man, I'm still dying, right? Like, there's just nothing I can do. So, yeah. Go to point there. Take the fight on point. Assist your tank. Amp yourself. Do whatever. Use beat early if you need to. Get the value from there. Harass the Ramattra, harass the Kiri, harass Lucio. Okay. Sadly, we're just going to have to sit here in an awkward silence until we start.
Yeah, I feel like this has been a problem for like a year, I feel like. Maybe
it's
more.
been about 3 or 4 months, yeah. It was a code problem with all codes for a while, and then they fixed it, but it's still a problem with workshop codes. So I've reported a few times. I'm going to keep reporting it. I'm going to be like, get quaked on with Doomfist bugs, but, you know, with the replay viewer instead. So. All right. Let's see how you... Yeah, go ahead.
I saw Doom's banned, too.
Yeah, the Empowered Punch bug.
Really crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, what's the bug?
You can get Empowered Punch for free.
What?
There's a bug, yeah. Yeah. It's stupid. Oh my days. You're one of the... Either you guys or the enemy team. Who was that?
Let's get to it. 3, 2, 1.
I think it's the enemy team there. You've been baiting me.
Moving out.
Don't like it. I understand Ram Vortex is a threat, but this is not where you want to be. Right?
Yeah.
This is where you're thinking like, oh, no, you need to be in here. You need to be in here, or you need to be here. Your choice. Because you're going to die to Freya anyway, right? So, now this is a little better. It's still awkward versus Freya, but like, yeah, you need to get your hands dirty in here. You need to harass, Mark, you know what I'm saying? Control some space where you can control space. You can't deal with her, but your Winston can. Your Kiri can, your Freya can. So if you go here and you help Mark, Tracer, Curie, Ram, whatever, harass, distract, then that allows your team to devote resources where they can control space. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where this is what makes support really difficult in a really weird way, is you don't get immediate feedback on when you made a huge mistake. You're like, Kenji, I know. It's your fault. It's your fault. You didn't die for it, but it's your fault. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. You're right, because I started there to stay away from Vortex, and then...
Yeah. It's hard. Like, there has to be that balance between, like, Lucio isn't a 250 HP character, you know what I'm saying? So you can't just brain dead run it down main. But you do have to find something where you can at least get reward for the risk, right? Because if it's not you dying, it's somebody else. That's crazy. Yeah. But how you play the Vortex, I'm not going to go back and look at it, but how should you position in this situation here? The range is correct, but the micro, the position was poor. Fix it.
When I was like right here where the camera is?
I can't go back in time. Sadly.
I don't know, probably just peeling faster.
Sure, you can peel faster. Here's another question. Why go up?
Oh, right. Yeah.
You know, go up.
Especially
right now, Freya's dead. Right? Go up.
Yeah.
You know? So remember, when you have more tools in your kit, you're expected to use them. So I don't know, freaking Brig doesn't have that many choices of how to position around a Ramatra. But you do. You have more. You have the verticality that she does not. So don't play around his strengths, play around your strengths. He doesn't have verticality. You do. That's why you could play the drum on the previous round. Remember that on point? Because you can just play verticality, and it's really hard for him to vortex you off. Okay. This is fine. This rotation is, like, safe enough. This is good. Yeah. Oh, it sucks. But yeah, that space is okay for you to control. I actually don't know that I'd fall back here. I think maybe a little bit of harassment here. Maybe you fall back. I'm not really sure. But obviously, like, you kind of want to... You kind of see, like, you didn't really help anybody anyway. Might as well could have kept the Kiriko from walking too far forward without turning her back on you. Not really sure. Obviously, you're down one, so you want to disengage, but there's an argument to be had for holding space on that angle to help your team rather than R-ing. R-ing. Weird word. Okay. Can rotate. Yep, sure. Good stuff. Get the speed. The rule is rotate as a team, fight, spread, right?
Yeah.
And then from here, where do you need to be?
Okay, so I see Ram close left. My tank is on high ground. This is tough.
Let's be very clear. There's a couple of choices here that may or may not provide different levels of value. But the key thing is that where you are now is worthless and yet is still risky, right? So anything is better.
I think playing Mega Room, because I know I think a DPS is there.
And even if they weren't,
Or
harass, pressure,
poke
waste
the
his
ram.
time, waste his resources, and then kind of squeeze in from here, right? Give me another option.
Going with Tracer or Tracers.
Yep. Squeeze into here. It's not optimal, but it's closer, and then allows for a rotation forward. You could even go up verticality off of your Winston if you have the time to, and pressure from this way. So 1, 2, 3. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Yep, you got it. We're on a mission. I mean, I see the vision, right? You're trying to get to your Tracer in a roundabout way without getting frayed. You know, it happens.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's you got kind of caught in a weird rotation, and then you didn't find the immediate RAM value, and so then you die anyway, right? In hindsight,
I think probably playing Mega Room there was probably the best.
Well, yeah, it was the best whether or not they pushed there, right? I think that's the key thing. Obviously, it's easy to say, oh, yeah, I should have been there because it could have stopped that from happening. But you didn't know that they were going to do that. Doesn't matter. Still the better position. I think the Lucio thing is about managing your risk, right? It's about putting yourself in an aggressive position and then finding ways to live there, right? If you live as Lucio, that does not mean that you're getting value. I've seen a lot of pro players describe it as such, but it's a really bad advice because all they can think about is, you play more passively once you take the aggressive angle, but they skip that first step that a lot of mid, even higher rank Lucios misunderstand, right? You must take space and then find ways to live. You don't necessarily take risks to pop off. You just take risks with how you position yourself. So like, for example, right now, this is a risk, right? Where you're at right now is a freaking risk. You just need to live and provide value as best as you can from this position now that you're here. You don't have to necessarily int, right? But if you were like, let's say here or holding back, I don't know, way over here, then this living is meaningless, right? But here, look at your aura, right? Look at your damage. This is useful. Right? This is chip healing, chip speed, chip damage multiplied by 2, right? So this is useful. This is what we want. This was, I baited ult, I booped the Ramacho away. I did some decent damage, right? It's kind of sad because you just didn't show up for the vast majority of the fights, but this is one of the first times that we've actually seen you do something. So, it's okay. Good try. Does that make sense in terms of like the philosophy of what you're doing?
Yeah, it's like I have to find like the balance in like positioning where I can still get some kind of value, but I'm not too overextended where I just get ran on with.
It's more about the fact that what is running you down, right? It's usually Freya shots, Vortex, things like that. So give those things respect, right? But you still have to take space.
Yeah.
And I think the key thing is that the more times that you put yourself in the right positions with the intention of living Ram Vortex, the better practice that you're going to have at knowing how Ram Vortex is used. The problem is right now is you're never going to get Vortex positioning like this, right? So then you're never really going to learn how to play around Ram Vortex. I'm not saying you should W key right now, but like obviously as this fight evolves, the information that you get. Thoughts on your positioning?
I think it's good.
Could it be better?
Let's
give you a little context here.
Maybe I could be playing like on that little slope right in front of.
You nailed it. Like right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking like to the left, maybe.
Or even here. Yeah.
Whipping the ram in.
Yeah.
For a second.
Perfect. Yeah. Exactly. Why are we helping the tank trade right now instead of helping the angle?
Because no one else is on the angle.
Well, yes, but also, like, what other position is available to you right now? Do you really want to be fighting this? Is this really your number one priority right now?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? No, this is just you're a corpse here, right? So this is where your value is the most useful, right? So this is where we tank trade. You nailed it. But all you did was you avoided the vortex by running away and not actually outplaying it, right? And not providing value in the meantime. So once again, you know, tank trade, you just didn't do anything. You were close though. I don't want to be overly critical, right? You were close.
Yeah.
You chose the general right position, but then didn't do enough from that position, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. Speed rotate as a team. Now you could assist your Genji up here. It is a little bit naked, but I think kind of where you're going now is also fine. So I can't go back, but I wish I could because you needed to trust the voices and go for that Freya.
Yeah.
Why? Because where was she?
In my range?
In your range. She's close, right? So then you make that transition here, and then you focus on living Vortex once you get there, right? Ironically, going more aggressively here, more decisively, would have meant that you would have dodged Vortex. As it is, instead, you're forced to kind of use your Suzu defensively. Oh, that's an unfortunate Frey ult for them. Okay. Now, what I would do is, I know Ram's kind of getting your full attention here, but when given the opportunity, I wouldn't have minded you to look at the Freya on the angle instead. So there was people here that you were kind of still putting attention on the Ram. I understand, but it's like that careful balance of which one deserves more of your attention right now. I almost skipped forward. I'm glad I didn't. It's a good trade. Okay, with speed, and then this needs to be immediately, right? Because that's what's close. Yeah. So rather than sniping as you walk, look at Tracer. Like, you really should be hunting this Tracer a bit more than you are, right? This is just way too passive in the space that you're controlling. I would go as far to say that maybe you should be rotating here or here even, get out of the open, rather than catching. If that makes sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is good. Good stuff. Oh, you almost got him. Good try, good try. I like the aggression. Obviously, that was a bit messy there, but like, it was more about like what you were unable to do earlier in the fight, and rather than the aggression there. Okay, we'll finish this up really quick, and then we'll go from here.
Yeah, I just see. Yeah, I see. You can keep it playing, but I see. See what you mean by. A lot of the time, my range is.
Yeah, you've been burned by Ram too much, I think. Even like your posturing here, right? Where should you be instead? Small adjustment.
Left.
Left, right, on pillar, right? Harassing here, marking this angle here, and then playing to live here, right? Because this is spooky. Okay. Okay, so we got one more fight. Ish. This is okay. I think obviously opening up the Freya angle here is a little bit unfortunate. You can also go here as well. This is really good for you too. I think you're gonna die to Freya though. Yeah. Oh, it sucks. Yeah, I mean, this is just a classic Freya thing where she's going to take a solo unsupported angle. If you guys aren't ready for it, she will kill you. If you guys are ready for it, she dies, right? That's just a classic Freya. That's okay. It happens. There's two things that have been killing you. Lack of attention to the Freya on the angle, and screwing up your proximity with Ramatra Vortex. But you guys win that. Nice. Okay.
So you think just playing that like little slope is just the best?
I think it's really good. It gives you the, remember we said the verticality, right? That's the little unique aspect of your positioning, not just the proximity, because a lot of characters play proximity. Not a lot of characters can comfortably transition and rotate around this, right? You can. You're kind of like, you got that Genji dog in you, right? Would Genji prefer this angle here, or would Genji prefer this angle here? Well, I don't know. It's tough, right? But this really gives me so many more options, right? Even though it's a tiny bit further. So again, it's just utilizing every single aspect of your character's kit. This is good. This is, you know, proximity. I wouldn't second guess yourself here. I would focus on doing what you can here. This is, again, it's just so incredibly valuable for you to do here. I don't mind a little bit of chip damage here, but don't pull yourself here, because it's not so much about, oh, I'm isolating my Cassie, although that's true. It's about, I mean, if you make this transition quickly, it's okay, but you're just more useful than you are right here. Because it's not that this is bad, it's just that you had to use an amp to get here, whereas you could use the amp to hold here. If you wanted to do this, then you should have left the Caste by himself to start and just gone right back to here and helped the tank trade earlier.
It's just more convenient.
Right, exactly. It's a convenience choice. Either one would have been useful. One would have resulted in your Caste dying, but you guys overwhelmingly winning the tank trade. The other one is this, where you don't really do either. Your Caste could die, and your tank trade value feels very low. Okay. This is pretty good. Oh, you needed to go up. That's unfortunate. Okay, let's move on to the rank code here.
Yeah.
Or whatever you like to look at.
I think with I think definitely with scrims, I'm like, or at least organized play, I'm like more scared to take those like more aggressive because I'm like not trying to die and like throw.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, no, I get
that's
it.
the only way to win.
I
really.
get it. Well, it's because you got to deal with those son of a guns after you fail, right? You got to talk to them.
Yeah.
They're not randoms. They're not faceless randoms. They're actual real people. So you have to. There's real life consequences for failing. I mean that's always a danger with multiplayer things. There's always people are scared to take risks because they don't want to be that guy. But obviously, like your team needs you to take risks, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're gonna. It's not even just like taking risks. It's putting yourself in the proper situation that feels more threatening. I think, right? Okay. Any questions so far?
I think I understand the proximity thing now and how to get value.
You notice we didn't talk as much about where you want to position for whether your tank or whether your DPS or support in terms of like excessively micro. It's just more about like where they're positioned and whether it feels good for you. And then the exception would be like, okay, we wanted to speed in with something, so therefore maybe I'll be more accommodating. But for example, like this here, you're pretty much going to be exclusively holding this angle here because last I checked, I don't think we're going to be speed boosting Roadhog forward. So just hold the angle here basically. Okay, let's roll. I don't know if you heard. The audio is really quiet, but there's a translocator right behind you. You need to be aware of that. Like that's a big deal.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it's fine. It's just because it's not. Again, it's not just because it's Sombra. It's because she's here. Anybody here, if Soldier was here, this is a priority, right? So just being aware of those things. Ignoring the Sombra, like let's say there's nobody here, then I like where you're positioned. I wouldn't be shallowing though. I would be holding this space here, just kind of chipping here. Speed was good. This is your responsibility. Good. Don't know that I would cross, and if I would cross, I'd be a little bit more deliberate about it, right? So you either this is your space here or this is your space here, your choice. Not this, right? This is, oh, I might speed my hog, but if your hog gets in trouble, it's more likely to be because of your team distracted by being here or here, right? So if you look at this here, the pressure that you're missing out of by playing this position here, you're never going to be all you're going to make sure is that I'll speed up my hog when he's almost dead. Like congrats, that's your value, right? So instead you're putting yourself at a bad range, you're not controlling angles, you're not pressuring backline, you're not compressing Sombra, you're not compressing Genji. You need to be controlling space. Like this is just useless, right? Like, it's just useless. So let's try it now that we can actually skip around here. Choose right or left here. Which one feels more comfortable for you? Right about here. This is your time to rotate if you want to rotate.
I would say right a little bit and then go left. Like I would like poke a little bit until I get attention and then rotate left with my
So like here.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just park our camera here, right when we would have rotated. About 3, 2, 1. Here. Okay, let's just watch what happens from this position here. You ready?
Yeah, that could have been a kill.
Yeah, right. Yeah. You know, with or without Tracer, right? But you got a DPS that's actually taking space, and my goodness gracious, she's getting jack all. Okay. Good. Finally, we're getting we're getting up with it a little bit, but obviously that was more carried by what your Tracer was doing and less so what you were doing. So it's always at risk. Good. Obviously, you'll need to disengage this in a second, but it's fine to control this space for a little bit, get some scouting information. To be honest with you, I go back up. I don't necessarily push out, but I go back up. Sombra's on me? Okay. You're mine, right? As long as I have verticality here in a corner, you're mine. Now that you do need to be giving it attention, right? You can't be looking away from where you know the threat is, right? That's like walking in front of a Widowmaker and just ignoring her, right? So this is the mistake there, but yeah. Yeah, don't go back. Don't go back. Don't go back. Don't go back. Because there's nothing happening here, right? Go here. Stay here. And then let's just park camera with where you were at, but give your attention in the right way. Let's see what you see. You ready? Saw that. Okay.
Yeah.
Fill that gap. We go in. What do you do?
Shoot Sombra.
Shoot Sombra, man. Speed your Roadhog in here. Get her out. Run it down. Kill that BAP. Like, imagine the carnage here, right? Like, oh my gosh, the value, right? This space is beautiful. You got the verticality. Ay, ay, ay. Right? It's like you're getting Ram Vortex IRL. Just get sucked onto the floor. And then now your Roadhog's freaking dead.
Hog died for
right,
it. Yeah.
it's right. Like he was taking some space here. So let's evaluate your thought process. How soon or how recent rather was this game?
I think yesterday.
Okay, brilliant. So you might have some vague recollections of what's kind of going through your brain here. Maybe you're scared of the Sombra matchup. I don't know. What's kind of going through your brain right now if you can remember?
So I know I see the queen pushing up, so
Yeah.
I think I was trying to assist my team there.
Mm-hmm.
I saw
See, we nailed it. We nailed it.
Yeah.
All right. I'm sorry to interrupt. Is this a I fixate on certain heroes thing?
maybe.
Because,
I think I see like I don't know actually. I think maybe like peeling.
Yeah.
I think is like kind of a mindset.
Oh, I see
there.
Junker Queen Genji. They got to make sure they don't dive my team. My friend, look at where they are and
Yeah,
look at
they're-
where you are. This is your space. This is not your responsibility, right? This is why, like, okay, honestly, all right, full transparency here, okay? I think certain myths in Scrim and team play are, like, actually toxic, not just in terms of ranked play, but in terms of, like, how the actual game works. The reason why you look at Tracer so often as Lucio in Scrims is why. We talked about this earlier.
Because if I like mark her, then she does less damage to
Right, but why is
my
it often your responsibility? Why is Lucio's responsibility, Tracer, not Zen or Ana? How do the angles you play compare to those characters?
I have more freedom to take those angles than them.
Right, but even deeper, even simpler than that. You and Tracer play very similar positions, so you often end up fighting for it. Right, the reason you pick Lucio is because he feels comfortable marking Tracer. Why does he feel comfortable marking Tracer? Because he feels comfortable positioning in the places that Tracer likes to play. Right, so if I'm playing Tracer here on Team Blue, if this was a Tracer instead, where would Tracer be? The same exact spot. She'd be coming in from the same angle, right? Or she'd be coming in from here, right? So the same angles that a Tracer plays is, again, Lucio, right? Why is Genji good at, or Lucio good at Genji? Same thing. Genji wouldn't hate this. If Junker Queen wouldn't hate this, right? It's the proximity, right? So you often run into each other, but you can't miss the forest for the trees. You can't focus on the outcome rather than the why you're there. So if you're thinking, oh, I deal with Junker Queen Genji, but Junker Queen Genji are playing angles that are either inconvenient or not good for the character, right? Like right now, I don't love this Genji's angle, right? He's not your problem. He's not your problem. This is your space.
Yeah.
This is your space. If Cassidy was here, this would be your problem. Or Sojourn, or Widow, or Ana, or Bap, or anything. If a tank was here, this would be your problem. This is your space. This is your job. I'm not used to seeing Roadhog take hard flanks, but you know what? This is a tank to speed now. Why?
Because he can get value.
Because he can get value. Look at where he is. Look at where you are. Do it. Do it. So stop fixating on specific characters and your responsibility with those characters and look objectively about where you're at and what makes sense with where you're at. You are positioned well. You're using verticality, an angle. You've got cover. You got an opportunity for some short-range pressure, and yet you're going back to deal with a threat that's not a threat.
Yeah.
Playing support isn't a checklist of characters that you should be dealing with and characters you shouldn't be dealing with, right? It's simply value when and where your character can do it. That's all. Because what's going to end up happening is you're gonna wait to peel the Junker Queen Genji, And you're going to be proven right every time because you're going to let the Junker Queen Genji do whatever they want. And so then you're going to be like, remember we saw the amp speed on the Roadhog earlier. It's like, yeah, I guess you kind of needed amp speed because you weren't doing anything else anywhere. So, okay. Sure, you're here, so you might as well. This is what dealing with Sombra is, right? She's on top of me, I deal with her. Yes, you see it? You see it? You see it? It's goofy, it's not perfectly executed, but you were in position, and you have the mobility and the creativity to deal with it. And so you did. You see it?
Yeah.
It wasn't perfect, but it's alright. Good job. They used a lot. That was 3. You need to be decisive here. Either in or out. It's too late now. You're cooked. Okay. Any questions? Is this making sense so far?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. You do the right thing when it accidentally applies to you, and when it doesn't, and you're forced to kind of have to go back to the real fundamentals of what you're trying to do, you struggle. Like right now, your job is not to peel Sombra. What's your job here?
Kill this Ana.
Kill the Ana. Why? Because this is really good space for me to control if I can make that transition. Right.
Yeah.
I would amp. I would get in her face. I would even consider beating her. Run her over. Ruin her day. Yes. Beautiful. Well done. I don't know what the frick she was doing, but we'll take it, you know? Good. Good. Yeah, you can deal with this. Yeah, you can deal with this all day long. Good stuff. You know what to do when you're there, but sometimes you don't know how to get there. Or sometimes when the plans change, you kind of feel lost. It's like you know how to drive the Ferrari, but we put you in a Ford Explorer, and you're like you're pressing the accelerator instead of the brake. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do see that a lot of times. I'm just
like
not
right here.
knowing where to go.
Where's the space that you can control? So ironically, you're in a good position to peel Sombra because you're in the wrong position. Where should you be? We'll go back even a few seconds. As this moves forward, where are your choices?
Top left where I was last time.
Yeah, top left where you could go last time. Where else?
With my Winston.
You
or
could go in your
right.
Winston, right? You could go. You could find value here. It'd be riskier. It'd be awkward, but yeah, you could. Here or here,
Right,
or you could be pushing here, right? Yeah, exactly. You nailed it. You nailed it. Now,
I think
obviously,
probably far right would be the best.
Yeah. Do you see what happens instead, though? You're in the middle. You're in the toilet bowl, right? So now that actually ends up working out because this poor okay, I can't believe I'm saying this, but Saggy Booty failed an Nanoblade. So I guess that works out. But obviously the fight's still not in a good spot. Okay, where's transition now? Where should you be? Where's your unique angle here?
Top left.
Top left, that's right. You got the verticality, take the top left. So move up here, deny the Genji the space. If he doesn't even take the space, then you're in a perfect position to dive his backline instead. Or assist with the tank trade here. Perfect position for you to be. Well done. Stop catching. Nice shots. Good amp. Probably lean toward the left, so you got a little bit of cover here. Yep. Good stuff. Nicely done. Very, very nicely done. All right. He's fun to play, isn't he?
Yeah, it's high skill ceiling, but yeah.
Yeah. Very, very high skill floor, very high skill ceiling. Also, one of the most... I say this, I swear, about like way too many characters, but I feel like he's one of the most misunderstood characters in Overwatch 2.
Yeah, I
Of
think
what he does. Because like stuff like this, this is where every other Lucio player would be just sitting on cart ready to speed their team. But no, that's not what you should be doing. You should be utilizing your verticality, short range pressure to be able to speed in and initiate here, or at least contest this space here. You are properly positioned. Your speed is what allows you to hold this space here, right?
Yeah.
In fact, I guarantee if you weren't there, then I don't know if this BAP even wins, right? Because I don't think he feels pressured.
Right.
Where should you be?
Two
choices.
Bullying this queen on cart, or looking for a boop on that high ground.
Yep, you got it. Either you're going to help tank trade here, or you're going to get up in their face here, or you're going to, at least if you're going to poke here, do so from a bit of an angle, right? Like you're going to notice here that we have more tolerance for range when it's on an angle. You notice that? Like this is
Yeah.
still probably too risky because of the back window, but it would be very, very annoying. Remember we saw that with the when you were pushing the cart here when they had Nano Blade and you're like, let's go left with my Cassidy. This felt a little far, but because it was a really deep angle, it might actually be worth it.
Yeah.
The depth of an angle is a multiplier to the range that you're getting value out of. So if you're going to be on main, you do need to be close generally most of the time to get value. But yeah, there's so much that you could do from here. Sure. I love the little boop op there too as well. Yep, there's risk here, but this is your job. Yep. Ooh, you're pincering yourself, so be careful. Yep. It's that kind of proactivity that keeps people alive, right? Like you have to be cautious in how you do it, but that's what keeps your Brig alive, that harassment. I respect it. Crazy, but I respect it. I respect it. This is I'm not going to be part of the solution. I'm going to cause the problem. You know? So sure. Who cares? It's a disastrous fight, but you were missing one and you're going into ults anyway, so you might as well clutch it. Oh, that's unfortunate. That's okay. You still got him. He's just staggering himself at this point. Good job. Do you feel how you did things that no support should be able to do?
Right.
Like, and that's Lucio right there. You moved around, you rotated, you harassed. Obviously, the boop off the map is like the highlight there, but there were so many moments of aggression and disengaging safely that isn't possible with any other character.
Right. And I felt like I actually got value of that fight.
Correct. And it's because
All the other
of,
fights.
it's a lot, I want to highlight it because of where you were fighting. It's easy to feel useful when you're playing Lucio here.
Yeah.
Then we move here and, well, it's not that you can't get value here, it's just that your options are much more limited, so it becomes much more important for you to make the right choice. You've not been making the right choices here. You have been making the right choices here, but not here. So that's really your quality as a Lucio, is to be able to find that position, find that angle, find that value when there isn't an easy choice. And to not overly fixate on specific heroes, but to find that position. Like right now, you are trolling the lobby. Where should you be?
Just playing tank trade.
Playing tank trade. Get up here. Get up here on the wall. Chip on this Malga. Boop him out. Chip, get 3-man aura, right? Something, right? Anything, rather than where you're at right now. You're just as likely to eat a Hanzo log here as you are anywhere else, right? So you might as well take a position where you got a bit of an angle and give your team aura, disengage if you need to. Yeah. I mean, you're going to get a trade here, I think. Okay, no, Cardiac saves him. Cardiac saves him. Cardiac saves him. But do you notice you guys actually lived that? Because of how good those positions are for you and Winston. Good stuff.
First Cardiac, too.
Yeah. A little bit of ult charge. That's going to buy some time for your team to disengage and re-engage here. Where should you be?
Top. Left.
Top. I mean, obviously, I think the challenge here is that you are continually surprised at how stupid your Winston is, because this is really dumb. You got somebody in spawn, right? Like, so I'm not blaming you for this, but obviously you need to do what you did just a second ago and be like, oh shoot, I guess we're fighting, and go. Right? Could you have saved him? Maybe. It's not that your fault that he died, but it is kind of like a good thinking exercise of like, if I'm quickly responding, where can I go to help? But I wouldn't sweat it. I'm pleased with what you did the previous fight, like helping him up there. You moved really well, and obviously it's a good learning lesson. Oh wow, okay.
Remember this fight?
Yeah, like unbelievably risky, but I like where we're going. Not Juno, but here. you can live a long time in this little nook, right? So
Yeah.
this even if your team doesn't commit at the same rate, that, like let's say your Ryan doesn't pin here and just kind of sits here and holds shield, you're fine. You're fine. You're going to need to live. You're going to need to prioritize on living, but you're fine. You're going to pull a lot of resources this way. That's going to isolate Malga. That's going to open up angles for your Genji and your Torb and your Brig. Yeah, this is good. Good stuff. Big value. Don't worry about your Rhine anymore. Focus on this. Right, exactly. So I think the mistake here was when you go in, grab Mega, grab this, okay. A little bit of speed here, but honestly, just full speed. Don't heal this. Full speed.
Yeah.
Just speed aura, and then immediately go back into mark the angle because you cannot die here, right? You must focus on living here. That was like, oh gosh. Maybe do it. You could beat this just to be safe. Just a mechanics issue, and honestly, just beat it. Win the fight. Win the fight. It's okay.
Yeah.
Not a big deal though. You're probably gonna win it either way. Yeah, honestly, not a bad little bit there. That was good. Feel how much easier it is to make decisions when you're in the right space.
All right.
This is a wasted amp, frankly, but obviously this is another one of those situations where you need to decide: am I going to help my Rhine, or are we disengaging? I would probably rotate towards your Rhine, frankly. Like I would go in towards here, I'd rotate through here, and I'd see what we can get here. Make sense?
Yeah.
If you're gonna die, it's fine. Die with him. No shame in dying, especially with the wave respawns. It's really not a problem. Sure. Just get off the Malga now. Yeah, good stuff. Just not aggressive enough. There was that window there that you needed to go, and if you didn't go, you lose, and I think that you kind of saw it there. Okay.
I do want to look a little at Berg.
Yep.
After.
We can do it right now if you'd like to.
Yeah.
Let's do it right now.
But
Main
I think
thing is positions over playstyle, right? Or responsibilities. Your responsibility comes from the positions that you're taking, and then you can decide how you want to cool down and how you want to position. Inherently, there will always be risk with those positions because you are 225 HP, but you have a full kit for those situations. So, don't chase targets, chase positions. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I think also, which wasn't in my mindset at all, was like tank trading like at all.
Mm-hmm.
But like it's like different from Brig because obviously you don't want to do that as Brig, and I'm like I put a lot of hours.
Sometimes you do. Like very rarely you do, but like there were times when like there was a meta not too long, like the Orisa Brig Juno meta, where Brig could get speed ring and whips when sometimes like for example like Nepal Sanctum. Very wide open map. So there were really no proximity angles to play. So all you did was you would help tank trade cautiously with an enemy Orisa mirror. You'd whip her away when she's javelin spinning, or when she's before she javelin spins, right? And you'd proc your Inspire, you'd play your corner, you'd bait, you'd kind of play inside the room towards the Mega, right? So that I agree with you, but like I guess my point being is there's nuance here. So continue.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, yeah, that was it really.
Okay.
But I feel a lot more comfortable on Brig, but since the team runs a lot of Kiriko, I just need to learn Lucio. But I was also looking for some insights on this character.
I like this angle that we're controlling here. A little bit of space. Good. Honestly, no. Leave her be. She's fine. Hold the space, because just look what happens as soon as you vacate, right? You see the transition?
The hog pushes up.
Yeah, immediately fills that space. There's a balance there. It's not always bad to do that, right? It's just a risk reward you have to decide. She's not crit, she's fine. Hold the space. Good. Huge value. Like this again. So we're asking what makes my support unique. What you just did. Baited hook, lived, procced Inspire. Now you can get in his face and ruin his day. Perfect. Well done. And crucially, you can also help people split from you too, right? Which Lucio can't do. Case in point, right? Like that you could have saved her if she played that better, right? With the packs.
Yeah.
But that's not your responsibility. I really like this. This is really good. 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 You might be able to live this. I'd probably go top left, to be honest with you, because I think you're dead here. You see what I'm saying? Because like now, it's not only do you live here if you go here more likely, but also that you can actually continue to do things. Whereas now you're cooked. Like there's really, where do you rotate to from here? It's a lot harder to do that with Brigitte. Brigitte is way stronger where she set her feet, but she's way weaker if she has to move, right? If her angle gets cleared, it's really hard to refine that angle, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So you think just holding top and
bash out towards top, and then if they all in on you and you die, okay, it's going to be worth. It's going to be really inconvenient. They're going to be turning your back to your Winston. They're going to be turning your back to your Mercy. They're going to be turning your back to your Cassidy. It's just you're more of an anchor. It's not that you don't rotate. It's that it's when you make your bed, you kind of have to lie in it, right? So, like, to be honest here, I think you probably should just bash in and try and get a trade. You're not going to, but like this is worst case scenario because you're going to die here. And you're going to stagger yourself, right? So it's like either full disengage or full int, one or the other. There's no half measures. Okay. This is fine. There aren't like a lot of really good comfortable close angles here. So like I think kind of controlling the space here is fine. If you guys do push further forward, you can kind of rotate from there. But this is fine. See, this is kind of what we talked about tank trading, right? Like you were like, oh no, this is exactly you are tank trading.
Yeah, there's no one else to.
There's no other. Well, it's no. That's not the case. It's not that there's no one else. There's nowhere else.
Yeah.
Right. You can easily contest Weaver, Sojourn. On it doesn't matter. It's the spacing. Lucio, you would be up here, probably harassing, maybe tank trading as well. But yeah, if you're Kiriko, you'd be on the flank, shooting whatever from here. With Brigitte, there's nowhere else to go. This is too far. I mean, if you could get here, this would be okay. But like, obviously, like that, it's kind of spooky right now. So what do? You tank trade. You proc your Inspire. You get big value. Then when you hear Roadhog ulting, frankly, you need to walk further forward and fill that space because what do you know about the enemy team's positions right now?
They're backing up because
they're backing up. You need to fill that vacation, right? You need to go in and fill the space here. I would bash in if I needed to get into this guy's face and then hold this angle here. You need to go. You need to fill that space. You are, like Lucio, a short-range support character. You know, it's one of the misconceptions about what main support really is. I see everyone try to come up with their own definition of what main support is. What is main support? What is main support? What is main support? You tell me, what is main support?
I guess just holding space.
It's just holding space, but what type of space? What type of space? Because every support holds space, no?
Holding space that other characters, like the enemy team, wants to take to slow them down.
But that's the same definition with Ana and Kiriko, right? They take sight lanes, they punish. So what's the difference with the main support characters we're looking at today? What do they have in common?
They can be more aggressive. And
right. It's the proximity of the space.
Yeah.
Right? It's the shorter range space that they can hold that other supports cannot. Do you see what I'm saying? That's why you have Lucio and Brigitte being valuable is not just because of, armor packs and things, because that's value too, of course, right? Those are things. But the space that they can contest, like you don't put Ana, Kiriko, Zen, whatever, Baptiste in here. You can't. But this is still really nice to control, right? So the definition of main support is controlling short-range space. And you know what's funny is it's not just limited to support. What's the meta DPS combo that has been meta for 6 years? It's hit scan, flanker, or tracer, hit scan, Genji, hit scan, Reaper, blah blah, right? Even freaking Winston, the initial Overwatch 2 was Reaper Sojourn, right? Why? You tell me.
One has the ability to control short proximity angles, and the other has.
That's correct.
The opposite.
That's correct, and it only when certain characters are wildly overtuned do you ever see an abandonment of that philosophy. It's simply too valuable to be able to control and contest two different types of space, and you see that with supports, and you see that with DPS. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I think that's important, not just because it's fun to know for game theory, it's also because it helps you to understand why. What is my purpose? Why am I playing this character? It's why whenever you see double flex support compositions like on a Kiriko, well, why? Why? Where do you see those? Instead of why, where?
You said double flex?
Yeah, where do you see on a Kiriko being played? Or
I guess,
heck,
like,
even BAP Lifeweaver, stuff like that, right? Those weird comps.
More open.
More open, right? Usually more open.
map.
Circuit Royale, Dorado, right? Not always. Sometimes characters are just overtuned or people try weird strats, but usually more open maps.
Yeah.
I'd be a lot more forward here, controlling the space here, harassing, proccing your Inspire. Doing what makes you unique. Like this right here is fine. Why? Because it's the only thing that's available to you that's close range. And you have cover. So you're, once again, tank trading. And you know what? Sure. Play your life. Beautiful, beautiful job. So it was really risky, and I think you knew it immediately because you moved in towards cover and just kind of played cautiously around nade, right?
Yeah.
Perfect. And it was perfect. You forced grip, you forced panicked. That kind of sucks here, but even here, like, this is good. This is really, really well played from you. This is what we wanted you from Lucio. Aggression, proximity, and then immediately managing that aggression, going, okay, I know I'm in a really dangerous space, so I'm going to play my life once I'm there, right?
Right.
Good job. Beautiful work. Now, this is really important. You have lost the script in terms of where this fight is going, and frankly, I understand it being difficult here. But if you're quick with what's going on, you can solve what you need to do here. What is it?
Go up top. And I think I do.
Go up top. Go up top immediately. No, go up top before you hear, right? Because you know what you can always do? Is you can always drop. You can always drop. Sure. But this is too far to assist to the tank trade, so stop trying. Instead, go top.
This ends now.
You see it, right? It's too late. The window has been filled, and now your Mercy should have died there. You see that?
Yeah.
In this space is better for you than it is for like an Ona Kiriko. I mean, it's kind of 50-50, right? This is kind of like a medium range, so it's going to be how you play it. But yeah, exactly. Okay. Any questions?
I think so. For Lucio, I get the proximity. I think like Brig, if you literally can't, if like say that like last fight,
Yeah.
You can't get value like where you are, and no one is in the position that has that like close range or that threatening position.
Yep.
That you want to take. You just kind of like pre-move. That's like
pre-move. Yeah. The rule with both Brigitte and Lucio is either A, you have people that want to get close to you, so you find value. Which is why both of those characters are immensely useful versus dive, because they don't always have to seek out proximity. Sometimes it thrusts itself upon them, and then that's where you're brilliant. You might still die, but that's the strength of your character. Right. If they don't want to get close to you, you need to find ways to get close to them, or spaces to get close to them.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's it. So that was a classic example of where everybody... why was the Roadhog not moving towards you? Well, because he doesn't want to. But the early fight, the very first fight, he needed to get out of the choke, so he has to walk forward, and then you just knock him back. He's like, it's really annoying, right? So then that fight, your Orisa's walking way beyond, Roadhog's backing up, and you're like, well, running all the way down main, that's a long way to go. Instead, I need to find a position that allows me to get close, but intelligently, strategically, right? A silver gold Lucio player will watch a VOD review and be like, okay, I got to get close, run down mid. But as you know, you got to be clever about your cover. You got to be clever about your angles. You may want to make sure that you're not giving yourself surrounded. And so that's when you have to start thinking about your rotations and your pre-fight stuff, right? It's the same kind of like second level thinking that we wanted you to bash up to the subway tunnel. Right, on first point, right? Because we knew if you bashed out, you would be completely exposed in the open, and there'd be no way to retake space anymore.
Okay,
just next level thinking, and I think you're smart enough to where when you're confronted with those situations, maybe not in the moment, but you could go back and review, think about them, figure out a plan, what you needed to do, what you could have done in the downtime. In terms of packs, whips, managing your bash, even the one rally that we saw, it's pretty good. Seems like the micro is there. Obviously, can always be better, But I think you're doing the right things once you put yourself in the right position.
Right. Yeah, and I see it a lot of, even with like pro players, they get into like they have like their own presets for like
Yep.
maps and like where to
Yep.
position.
Yep.
So like kind of just like knowing beforehand before even the map begins
Yes. Yes.
is like useful. So
It
that's
makes it
yeah.
easier because then you can exclusively focus on your mid-fight rotations because the pre-fight position is just kind of already done for you. You still have to focus on the mid-fight stuff, but at least one of the steps is solved, right?
Right. All right. Yeah.
All right, mate. It was a pleasure. Control some space.